Jack Rogers stared out the viewport of the space station at the vast emptiness of space. Small beads of sweat formed on his forehead despite the climate-controlled environment. In just 30 minutes, he would meet the alien representatives who could determine the future of humanity. "You look like you're about to pass out?" a voice said from behind him. Jack turned to see Lieutenant Olivia Martinez entering the observation deck. Her dark hair was pulled back in a regulation bun, and her blue uniform fit her athletic frame perfectly. "That obvious, huh?" Jack tried to smile, but managed only a weak grimace. "I'm a linguist, not a diplomat. I should be analyzing their language. Patterns from recordings, not speaking for all of humanity." Olivia walked over and stood beside him at the viewport. "That's exactly why you're perfect for this job. The Zinthari specifically asked for someone who understands their communication style, not another smooth-talking politician." Jack nodded, but didn't feel convinced. 3 weeks ago, he had been in his lab on Earth, studying the complex tonal variations in the Zinthari language. Then the aliens had requested him by name. Apparently, his research papers on their unique four-tone speech patterns had caught their attention. "Did they brief you on the translator tech?" Olivia asked, tapping the small device behind her ear. "Yes. Latest prototype. Neural-linked and supposedly able to catch nuances that the standard models miss." Jack touched his own translator nervously. "They said it might pick up on thoughts connected to speech patterns, but that shouldn't be a problem as long as I stay focused." Olivia raised an eyebrow. "So don't think anything embarrassing while it's active." "Got it." Jack's stomach tightened. "Great. One more thing to worry about," the station's AI announced over the speakers. "Zinthari delegation arriving in Docking Bay 3. Earth representatives, please report to the diplomatic reception area." Olivia straightened her uniform. "That's our cue." "Remember, I'll be with you the whole time. My job is to keep you safe and make sure these negotiations go smoothly." Jack gathered his tablet and followed her through the station's curved corridors. "Why did they send military personnel as my escort? Doesn't that send the wrong message?" "I'm not just security," Olivia said as they walked. "I have specialized training in xenopsychology and tactical diplomacy. Plus," she added with a smile, "I can drop an alien twice my size if things go south." Jack wasn't sure if she was joking. He'd only met Lieutenant Martinez 3 days ago when they boarded the shuttle to the neutral space station. Their briefings had been separate, and she revealed very little about herself beyond her professional role. They reached the reception area where Director Patel from Earth Space Agency waited. Her usually calm face looked tense. "Rogers, Martinez? Good. You're here." She lowered her voice. "New information? The Zinthari have brought their High Commander? This means they're taking this very seriously?" "The fate of Earth's admission to the Galactic Council may depend on the next few hours." Jack felt his mouth go dry. "No pressure." "Remember your training," Director Patel said. "And remember that the Zinthari value honesty above all else. Their species cannot lie physically, cannot so. They respect straightforward communication." The massive doors at the far end of the reception area began to slide open. Jack stood taller, trying to project confidence he didn't feel. Beside him, Olivia subtly shifted her stance, ready for anything. 4 aliens entered the room. The Zinthari stood nearly 8 feet tall, with iridescent scales covering their bodies. Each had 4 arms and large, multifaceted eyes that seemed to take in everything at once. Their scales shifted colors slightly as they moved, a form of emotional expression. Jack remembered from his studies that the tallest Zinthari stepped forward. Its scales had a purple-blue sheen that indicated high rank. "I am High Commander Kirzin of the Zinthari Confederation." The alien said, its voice a complex mix of tones and clicks that the translator converted to English. "We greet the representatives of Earth with open arms." As if to demonstrate all 4 of its arms extended outward. Jack swallowed hard and stepped forward. "High Commander, I am Jack Rogers, linguistics specialist. On behalf of Earth, we are honored by your presence and grateful for this opportunity to establish relations between our peoples." The Zinthri scales rippled with a golden hue curiosity, if Jack remembered correctly. "You are the one who decoded our speech patterns," Kyrzen said. "Impressive for a species so young. Your understanding of our four-tone structure was unexpected." Jack felt a small surge of pride. "Thank you, High Commander. Your language is beautiful in its complexity." The alien's head tilted slightly. "And this one?" It gestured toward Olivia with one of its lower arms. "Lieutenant Olivia Martinez?" she said before Jack could introduce her. "I serve as security and diplomatic advisor to Specialist Rogers." The High Commander's scales flickered briefly to orange a color Jack didn't recognize from his studies. The alien leaned closer to Olivia, its large eyes examining her carefully. "You carry weapons," Kyrzen stated. It wasn't a question. Olivia didn't flinch. "Yes, it is standard protocol for protection officers. They can be surrendered if required." Jack held his breath. This wasn't starting well, but instead of offense, the Zinthri's scales shifted to a warm green tone. "Honesty without hesitation. Good. Keep your weapons, Lieutenant Martinez. We respect preparedness." Director Patel stepped forward smoothly. "If you'll follow us, High Commander, we've prepared the diplomatic chamber for our discussions." As they walked through the station, Jack noticed how the other station personnel stopped to stare at the aliens. First contact had happened only 6 months ago, and seeing actual Zinthri up close was still a rare experience for most humans. The diplomatic chamber was a large room with a circular table in the center. The Zinthri delegation sat across from the humans, their forearms resting on specially designed supports. "Before we begin formal talks," Kyrzen said, "we must understand each other better. Tell me, Jack Rogers, why do you believe humans deserve a place in the Galactic Council?" Jack hadn't expected such a direct question so quickly. He glanced at Director Patel, who gave a small nod. "High Commander," Jack began carefully, "humans are still learning our place in the galaxy. We don't come claiming to deserve anything. We come hoping to learn, to contribute what we can, and to find peaceful cooperation with other intelligent species." The High Commander's scales rippled through several colors before settling on a deep blue. "An unusual answer. Most species list their accomplishments and technological achievements." Jack smiled slightly. "We have those too. But we thought you might already know about them since you've been observing Earth for the past 50 years. All four of the Zinthri's eyes widened slightly, and its scales flashed with surprise. Beside him, Jack heard Olivia intake a sharp breath. He hadn't been supposed to reveal that humans knew about the long-term observation, but then the High Commander did something unexpected. It made a strange vibrating sound that the translator didn't immediately process. It was laughing. "Perhaps," Kyrzen said, "these negotiations will be more interesting than we anticipated." 3 days passed in a blur of meetings with the Zinthri. Jack's voice grew hoarse from speaking for hours on end, explaining Earth customs, history, and technological capabilities. The aliens were thorough in their questioning, demanding details about everything from human reproduction to waste management systems. By the 4th day, Jack was exhausted. He sat slumped in his chair as the day's 12th meeting finally ended. His neural translator felt hot behind his ear, and he resisted the urge to remove it. The device needed to stay in place at all times during the negotiations. "You did well today," Olivia said, gathering her tablets from the table. "The High Commander seemed pleased with your explanation of human art and music." Jack rubbed his tired eyes. "I never thought I'd have to explain why humans paint pictures of fruit in bowls to an alien species." The other Zinthri delegates filed out of the room, their scales shifting in patterns that Jack was too tired to interpret. Only High Commander Kyrzen remained, speaking in low tones with Director Patel near the doorway. "The next session starts in 30 minutes, Olivia reminded him. "Just enough time to grab something to eat." Jack groaned as he stood up. His back ached from sitting in the uncomfortable chairs designed to accommodate both human and Zinthri anatomy. "Food can wait. I need to stretch my legs first," he said. They exited the meeting room and walked down the curved corridor of the space station. Jack rolled his shoulders, trying to work out the stiffness. Is it just me, or are these meetings getting longer each day? He asked. Olivia nodded. It's a test. The Zinthari are known for their endurance. They're seeing how long we can last. Great, Jack muttered. An alien stamina contest. They turned a corner into a wider hallway with large viewports showing the stars outside. Jack paused to look at the view, trying to clear his mind. The vast emptiness of space usually calmed him, but today it only reminded him how far from home he was. Come on, Olivia said after a moment. We should get to the cafeteria before the good food is gone. She started walking ahead of him down the corridor. Jack followed, his mind drifting as fatigue took over. The blue uniform Olivia wore was standard issue for space military personnel, but somehow she made it look different. The fabric hugged her athletic frame perfectly as she walked ahead of him with confident strides. A stray thought drifted through Jack's tired mind. Wow! In that uniform, Martinez has the most perfect but in the entire Milky Way galaxy. 2. His horror, Jack heard his own voice echo in the hallway. The neural translator had activated without warning, broadcasting his private thought at full volume. Worse still, it had translated it into Zinthari, Galactic Standard, and 3 other alien languages simultaneously. Jack froze in place. Olivia stopped walking. The only sound in the corridor was the soft hum of the station's life support systems. Slowly, Olivia turned around. Her face was unreadable, but her eyes were wide with shock. Behind Jack came a sound like grinding stones. He turned to see High Commander Kair Zinn and the other Zinthari delegates who had just rounded the corner. They must have heard everything. The High Commander's scales were rapidly shifting through colors Jack had never seen before. I didn't mean the translator, Jack stammered, his face burning with embarrassment. Director Patel rushed forward, her expression a mix of horror and anger. Specialist Rogers. That was completely inappropriate, and she was interrupted by a strange sound coming from High Commander Kair Zinn. The noise grew louder, a vibrating rumble that made the viewport. Glass trembled slightly. The neural translator struggled for a moment. Before identifying the sound, expression of amusement. Closest human equivalent. Laughter. The High Commander was laughing. All 4 of its eyes crinkled at the corners and its scales pulsed with bright colors. Your species continues to surprise us, Kair Zinn said when the laughter subsided. Such honest appreciation expressed without calculation or agenda. Jack blinked in confusion. You're not offended? Offended? The alien's head tilted. Why would direct observation cause offense? In Zinthari culture, acknowledging physical attributes is a form of respect. We had concerns that humans might be too diplomatic, hiding their true thoughts behind carefully chosen words. The other Zinthari delegates were now making the same rumbling sound, their scales flashing in patterns that seemed almost joyful. You don't understand, Kair Zinn continued. For 3 days we have tested you, watching for signs of deception or manipulation. In our culture, only the truth has value. Your accidental honesty has revealed more about humanity's character than all your formal presentations. Jack looked at Olivia, who still hadn't spoken. Her face remained neutral, but he thought he saw a slight twitch at the corner of her mouth. Director Patel seemed unsure how to proceed. High Commander, please accept our apologies for this, unprofessional outburst. I assure you that Specialist Rogers will be no apologies necessary, Kair Zinn interrupted, raising all 4 hands. This moment has convinced us that humans may indeed be worthy partners in the galactic community. The alien turned to Olivia and performed a formal bow with all 4 arms crossed over its chest. Lieutenant Martinez, in our culture, receiving such honest appreciation is considered an honor. The human phrase would be ... a compliment. Olivia cleared her throat. Yes, that's correct. Her voice was steady, professional, but Jack noticed a slight flush on her cheeks. Then we shall adjourn our meetings for today, Kair Zinn announced. We have much to discuss among ourselves. I believe this development may accelerate our decision timeline significantly. With that, the Zinthari delegation departed, their scales still flickering with bright colors. The sound of their rumbling laughter echoed down the corridor long after they had gone. In the sudden silence, Jack finally dared to look directly at Olivia. "Lieutenant, I am so sorry. The translator must have malfunctioned and picked up on my stray thought." "I never meant to save it, Rogers," Olivia said, cutting him off. But to his surprise, she wasn't scowling. Instead, a small smile played at her lips. "Apparently, your little slip just did more for human-alien relations than 3 days of formal talks?" Director Patel shook her head in disbelief. "I've been in diplomacy for 20 years, and I've never seen anything like this." "Rogers, your comment was completely inappropriate, but—" She sighed. "Somehow it seems to have worked in our favor." Jack still felt mortified, but relief was starting to set in. He hadn't ruined everything after all, so what happens now? He asked. "Now," Olivia said, turning to continue down the hallway, "we get some food. And then you're going to explain exactly how your accidental compliment is going to fit into our official mission report." Jack sat alone in his quarters, staring at the blank report form on his tablet. How exactly was he supposed to document what had happened? Accidentally commented on Lieutenant Martinez's posterior, which pleased the aliens didn't seem like appropriate diplomatic language. A knock on his door interrupted his thoughts. "Come in," he called. The door slid open to reveal Director Patel. Her usual stern expression had been replaced by something Jack couldn't quite read. "Rogers," she said, entering the room, "we need to talk about what happened today." Jack stood up quickly. "Director, I want to apologize again for my unprofessional behavior. The neural translator shouldn't have picked up that thought, but that's no excuse for—" "Stop." Director Patel held up her hand. "I'm not here to reprimand you. You're—" "Not? No." She sat down on the room's only chair, motioning for Jack to sit back on his bed. "I just received a communication from Earth Command. They've reviewed our preliminary report about the incident." Jack winced. And they're pleased." Director Patel sounded almost bewildered. "The Zinthari have sent their own message to Earth. They're offering us full membership in the Galactic Council, effective immediately. No probationary period, no further tests or evaluations." Jack stared at her, "Because of what I said about Lieutenant Martinez." "Apparently," Director Patel nodded, "the Zinthari value honesty above all else. Your accidental comment convinced them that humans are capable of the kind of straightforward communication they respect. They believe we can be trusted. That single quotes S. Good news, right?" "It's unprecedented." Director Patel leaned forward. "Do you understand what this means, Rogers? Earth just gained access to technology centuries ahead of our own. Defensive agreements with a dozen alien species. Trade routes throughout the galaxy. All because you couldn't keep your thoughts to yourself." Jack felt his face grow warm. "When you put it that way." "Earth Command is thrilled," she continued. "They're already talking about revising our first contact protocols. Your, observation about Lieutenant Martinez will likely be studied by diplomatic students for generations." Jack groaned and buried his face in his hands. "Great, that's just great." Director Patel actually smiled. "The Zinthari have requested that you continue as Earth's primary representative. They like your refreshing honesty, as they put it." "And Lieutenant Martinez?" Jack asked cautiously. "She remain as your security detail." Director Patel stood up. "You should talk to her. By the way, she's been fielding questions from the Zinthari about human customs regarding physical compliments. They're quite fascinated by the whole thing." After Director Patel left, Jack sat for a long time, trying to process everything. Finally, he stood up, straightened his uniform, and headed to find Olivia. He owed her a proper apology, regardless of the unexpected diplomatic success. He found her in the station's small gym, running on a treadmill. She saw him enter, but kept running. Jack waited awkwardly by the door until she finished her workout. When she finally stepped off the treadmill and grabbed a towel, he approached. "Lieutenant Martinez," he began formally, "I wanted to properly apologize for what happened. It was unprofessional and disrespectful, and do you know what I've been doing for the past 2 hours?" Olivia interrupted, wiping sweat from her face. Jack shook his head. "Explaining to 4 very curious Zinthari why humans sometimes get embarrassed when receiving compliments about their bodies. She took a drink from her water bottle. They find the concept fascinating. I'm sorry you had to deal with that. Jack said sincerely. Olivia shrugged. It's fine. But they did ask me something interesting. What's that? They wanted to know if I was offended by your comment. She looked at him directly now, her expression neutral. Jack swallowed. And what? Did you tell them? A small smile appeared on Olivia's face. I told them the truth. That in human culture, context matters. That same comment in a professional setting would normally be inappropriate. Normally, Jack repeated, feeling his heart sink a little. But, Olivia continued, I also told them that unexpected honesty sometimes reveals truths that formal conversation hides. Jack blinked, not sure what to make of that. Zinthari asked me if I've ever had similar thoughts about you, she added casually. Jack felt his pulse quicken. And have you? Olivia's smile widened slightly. I told them that information was classified. Before Jack could respond, his communication device beeped. He checked it reluctantly. The Zinthari delegation is requesting our presence. Something. About a ceremonial dinner to celebrate the new alliance. We should go then, Olivia said, heading toward the door. And Rogers? Yes? Try to keep your thoughts to yourself this time. Or at least the ones about my anatomy. Jack felt his face grow warm again. I'll do my best, Lieutenant. The ceremonial dinner was held in the station's largest gathering space. The room had been decorated with both Earth and Zinthari symbols. Foods from both worlds filled long tables, though Jack noted that the human and alien dishes were carefully separated. High Commander Kirzin approached as soon as they entered. Its scales were a brilliant gold color that Jack had never seen before. Specialist Rogers, Lieutenant Martinez, the alien greeted them with a four-armed gesture. Today marks a historic moment in galactic relations. We're honored to be part of it, Jack replied carefully. I must share something with you, Kirzin said, its voice dropping lower. When we first encountered humans, many in the Galactic Council feared your species. They saw your rapid technological advancement as a threat. Some even suggested quarantining Earth. Jack exchanged a surprised glance with Olivia. But I argued, for this diplomatic mission, the High Commander continued, I believe that any species capable of creating such beautiful art and music must have redeeming qualities. Still, I needed proof that humans could be trusted with advanced technology and knowledge. And my comment provided that proof? Jack asked incredulously. Not the comment itself, Kirzin explained, but what it represented. In that moment, we saw humanity's true nature capable of appreciating beauty, expressing it without calculation, and the alien's eyes shifted to Olivia, responding to potential embarrassment with grace and humor rather than anger. Olivia cleared her throat. High Commander, while we appreciate your interpretation, I should clarify that on Earth, such comments in professional settings are generally considered. Different cultures have different norms. Kirzin interrupted. What matters is that we now understand each other better. The misunderstanding has built a bridge between our species. The alien raised all four arms, drawing the attention of everyone in the room. Tonight, Kirzin announced, we welcome humans as the newest members of the Galactic Council. May our partnership bring peace and prosperity to all our worlds. The room erupted in the strange rumbling sound of Zinthari approval. Jack noticed several human staff members attempting to mimic the sound, resulting in awkward throat clearing. Noises that made the alien scales pulse with amusement. As the celebration continued around them, Olivia leaned closer to Jack. So, Specialist Rogers, how does it feel to have changed the course of human history with one inappropriate comment? Jack shook his head, still not quite believing it. I'll let you know when it sinks in. Right now, I'm just trying not to accidentally say anything else that might start an interstellar incident. Olivia laughed, a warm sound that Jack realized he hadn't heard before. Well, at least it would be an honest incident. Jack looked at her, noticing how her eyes crinkled when she smiled. Lieutenant, I have to ask, were you really not offended? Olivia's smile turned thoughtful. Let's just say that in another context. I might have taken it as a compliment. She raised her glass in a small toast, to honest mistakes and unexpected outcomes. Jack raised his own glass, feeling a weight lift from his shoulders. To honesty, he agreed. 2 weeks after the ceremonial dinner, Jack and Olivia found themselves aboard a Zinthari ship headed back to Earth. The massive vessel moved through space at speeds human technology couldn't match, cutting what would have been a month-long journey. Down to just 3 days. Jack stood in the observation deck, watching stars streak by in blurs of light. The neural translator behind his ear had been modified after the incident. The engineers claimed they had fixed the thought leakage problem, but Jack still found himself carefully monitoring his thoughts whenever he wore it. "There you are," Olivia said, entering the observation deck. "Director Patel is looking for you." "More preparation for the Earth arrival ceremony," Jack sighed. "More speeches to memorize?" "Actually, the Zinthari have requested that you speak without prepared remarks." Olivia joined him at the viewport. "They want natural human communication at the ceremony." "Great," Jack muttered, "because that worked out so well last time." Olivia smiled. "You should be proud. Earth Command has sent 17 messages in the past week, all praising our innovative diplomatic approach." "You mean my embarrassing slip of the tongue?" "They're calling it honesty diplomacy now," Olivia said with a small laugh. "There's talk of including it in future diplomatic training." Jack groaned. "Please tell me they're not going to teach people to comment on aliens' body parts." "No, but they are emphasizing the value of carefully controlled honesty in interspecies relations." She bumped his shoulder lightly with her own. "You're becoming famous, Specialist Rogers? Lucky me." Jack turned away from the viewport. "I still can't believe how this all turned out. One minute I'm worried I've ruined everything, the next. We're honored guests and Earth has joined the Galactic Council." "The universe works in strange ways," Olivia said. "Though I doubt anyone could have predicted this particular path to galactic acceptance." They walked together through the alien ship. The Zinthari had adapted several areas for human comfort, but most of the vessel remained designed for the taller, four-armed aliens. Jack had to duck under doorways, and the corridors felt oddly wide. "Have you thought about what you'll do when we get back?" Olivia asked as they walked. "Earth Command has already reassigned me," Jack replied. "I'm being sent to the new Galactic Embassy as the chief human representative. Congratulations. You deserve it. What about you?" Jack asked. "Any new assignments?" Olivia nodded. "I've been promoted to captain. They're keeping me on as head of security for the human diplomatic team. So we'll still be working together," Jack said, trying to keep his voice neutral despite the pleased feeling that rose in his chest. "Looks that way." Olivia glanced at him with a hint of amusement. "Think you can manage to keep your thoughts about my appearance to yourself this time?" Jack felt his face grow warm. "I'm never going to live that down, am I?" "Not likely," she said cheerfully. They reached the ship's communication center where Director Patel waited with 2 Zinthari officers. Their scales shifted to a welcoming blue-green when Jack and Olivia entered. "Rogers, Martinez?" "Good," Director Patel said. "We're receiving a transmission from Earth. They want to speak with both of you." The largest screen in the room flickered to life, showing the face of Admiral Ben Garcia, head of Earth Space Command. "Specialist Rogers, Lieutenant Martinez," the Admiral said formally. "On behalf of Earth's leadership, I want to congratulate you on the successful completion of your mission. The alliance with the Zinthari exceeds our highest expectations." "Thank you, Admiral," Jack replied, though much of the credit belongs to the Zinthari themselves. "They've been extremely generous." "Indeed," the Admiral nodded. "Which brings me to the purpose of this call. The Zinthari High Command has made an unusual request. They've asked that you two specifically lead the new diplomatic team permanently." Jack exchanged a surprised look with Olivia. "They've explained their reasoning," Admiral Garcia continued. "They believe you represent the best of human qualities: honesty, adaptability, and what they call harmonious cooperation, apparently. They find your working relationship particularly impressive." Jack tried not to smile. If only the Admiral knew what had really sparked the Zinthari's interest. "We accept the assignment, Admiral," Olivia said confidently. "Excellent. There will be a formal ceremony when you arrive on Earth, followed by a press conference. The world is eager to meet the team that secured humanity's place among the stars." The Admiral's expression became slightly concerned. "I trust there won't be any unusual incidents during the public appearances?" "No, sir," Jack assured him. Quickly, the translator has been modified to prevent any further miscommunications. After the call ended, Director Patel looked at them with a mix of pride and lingering disbelief. 6 months ago, we were still debating whether aliens even existed. Now we're members of a galactic alliance. And it's all because you, she pointed at Jack, couldn't keep your thoughts to yourself, and you, she turned to Olivia, had the grace to handle it well. "Just doing our duty, Director," Olivia said with a straight face, one of the Zinthari. Officers approached them, its scales rippling with curiosity. "I still do not fully understand why the comment caused such concern initially. In our culture, acknowledging physical attributes is a form of respect." Jack looked at Olivia silently, pleading for help. "Human customs around physical compliments are complex," Olivia explained diplomatically. "Context and relationship determine what's appropriate," the alien's head tilted. "And your relationship with Specialist Rogers has changed the context?" Olivia paused. "You could say that." "Fascinating," the Zinthari said, its scales shifting to a thoughtful purple. "Human social dynamics will provide centuries of study for our cultural experts." After the Zinthari officer moved away, Jack turned to Olivia. "Has our relationship changed the context?" he asked quietly. Olivia gave him a long look. "We've gone from strangers to the face of humanity in the galactic community in less than a month. I'd say that changes the context considerably." "That's not what I meant," Jack said. "I know what you meant," Olivia replied with a small smile. "And I think that's a conversation for when we're not surrounded by aliens with extremely good hearing." Before Jack could respond, an announcement came over the ship's communication system. They would be entering Earth's solar system within 12 hours. "We should get some rest before arrival," Director Patel advised. "Tomorrow will be a historic day, and all eyes will be on you two." As they left the communication center, Jack found himself walking beside Olivia once again. "Captain Martinez," he said, testing out her new rank. "Yes, Ambassador Rogers," she replied, using the title he hadn't officially received yet. "I'm glad we'll be continuing to work together." Olivia smiled. "So am I, though I expect you to keep all observations about my anatomy to yourself during official functions." "And unofficially?" Jack asked before he could stop himself. Olivia's smile widened just slightly. "That, Ambassador, depends entirely on the context." 6 months had passed since Earth officially joined the Galactic Council. The new interspecies embassy in Geneva was finally complete, a stunning blend of human and alien architecture that symbolized the unprecedented cooperation between Earth and its galactic neighbors. Jack stood at the window of his office, looking out at the mountains in the distance. His title was now official, Ambassador Jack Rogers, humanity's chief representative to the Galactic Council. Sometimes he still couldn't believe how he had ended up here. His desk was covered with reports about the technology exchanges that had already begun to transform life on Earth. Medical advances from the Zinthari had cured 3 previously fatal diseases. Energy systems from the Krell had solved power generation problems in developing nations. And agricultural techniques from the plant-based Photari were ending food shortages around the world. All because of one embarrassing comment about Captain Olivia Martinez's posterior. The thought still made Jack smile and wince at the same time. The incident had become something of a legend in diplomatic circles, though the official reports were carefully worded to maintain dignity. Only a handful of people knew the full story. His communication panel chimed. "Ambassador Rogers, the Zinthari. Delegation has arrived for the anniversary ceremony," his assistant announced. "Thank you, Peter. I'll be right down," Jack replied. He straightened his formal uniform and checked his appearance in the mirror. The neural translator behind his ear was now a more streamlined model, developed with Zinthri help. It no longer picked up stray thoughts, a modification Jack had personally insisted on. In the main lobby of the embassy, Jack found High Commander Kyrzin waiting with several other alien representatives. The Zinthri scales were a festive gold color, indicating pleasure and celebration. Ambassador Rogers, Kyrzin greeted him with a forearm gesture that Jack had learned was reserved for honored friends. 6 of your Earth months since our historic alliance? A short time for the galaxy, but significant for both our peoples. High Commander, it's good to see you again, Jack said warmly. The ceremony will begin in 1 hour. Until then, may I offer you a tour of our new facilities? With pleasure, the alien replied. And Captain Martinez will join us? She's overseeing security for the event, but she meet us in the garden section. Jack explained. As they walked through the embassy, Jack pointed out features designed to accommodate various alien physiologies. Gravity controls in different sections allowed species from high or low gravity worlds to move comfortably. Atmospheric chambers permitted beings with different breathing requirements to attend without protective gear. Your species adapts quickly, Kyrzin observed. In half a cycle, you have embraced galactic citizenship with remarkable enthusiasm. We had good teachers, Jack replied, and a strong motivation to prove ourselves worthy partners. They reached the central garden, a massive greenhouse containing plants from a dozen worlds, carefully separated into climate-controlled zones. Near a small pond filled with iridescent blue flowers, Captain Olivia Martinez waited for them. She wore her formal uniform, now adorned with the insignia of Earth's Interspecies Security Force. Her dark hair was pulled back in its usual neat style, but Jack noticed she had added a small Zinthri friendship pinned to her collar, a gift from Kyrzin second-in-command. High Commander, Olivia greeted the alien with a perfect four-armed gesture, despite having only 2 arms to work with. Welcome back to Earth. Captain Martinez, Kyrzin scales rippled with pleasure. Your security protocols are exemplary as always. 3 of our worlds have adopted your training methods. Olivia smiled. I'm honored. We still have much to learn. From your people as well. As they continued the tour, Jack found himself watching Olivia more often than he should. Their working relationship had evolved over the past 6 months into something more complex than simple colleagues. Yet neither had taken the step to define exactly what that meant. The embassy was filled with activity as final preparations for the ceremony were completed. Human and alien staff moved with purpose, setting up translation systems and adjusting environmental controls. Jack felt a surge of pride seeing everything run so smoothly. A word in private, Ambassador? Kyrzin requested as they neared the end of the tour. Of course, Jack replied. They stepped into a small meeting room, leaving Olivia to continue coordinating security outside. Once alone, the Zinthri scales shifted to a more serious blue. I have been authorized to share something with you before the public ceremony. Jack straightened. I'm listening. The Council has voted to appoint Earth as the headquarters for a new galactic cultural exchange initiative, Kyrzin said. This is an honor usually reserved for founding members. That's incredible news, Jack said, genuinely surprised. Why us? We're the newest members. The alien scales rippled with amusement. Because your species possesses a quality many older civilizations have lost, the ability to speak truth without calculation, to see beauty and acknowledge it openly, to make mistakes and transform them into opportunities. Jack felt his face warm slightly. You're still talking about the translator incident, aren't you? That moment revealed more about humanity than 1,000 diplomatic meetings, Kyrzin confirmed. It showed us that beneath your formal protocols beats a heart of genuine emotion. The galaxy needs that quality desperately. After the private meeting, Jack had just enough time to prepare for the ceremony. He reviewed his speech one last time, though the Zinthri still preferred when he spoke without prepared remarks. As he left his office, he nearly collided with Olivia in the hallway. Sorry, she said, steadying herself with a hand on his arm. Security check complete. Everything's ready. Good, Jack nodded. Kyrzin just told me some amazing news. Earth has been chosen to lead a new cultural initiative. Olivia raised an eyebrow. Because of our rich cultural heritage and diplomatic skill? Because I embarrassed myself by commenting on your but 6 months ago, Jack admitted with a rueful smile. Olivia laughed, the sound still rare enough that Jack treasured hearing it. The most successful diplomatic strategy in human history, apparently. They walked together toward the main hall where the ceremony would take place. Just before they reached the doors, Olivia stopped him with a light touch on his arm. "Jack," she said quietly, using his first name as she only did in private. "Do you ever wonder what would have happened if your translator hadn't malfunctioned that day?" Jack considered the question. "Earth would probably still be trying to prove itself worthy of galactic membership. We might not have received any of the technology that's helping so many people. And us?" Olivia asked, her eyes meeting his directly. Jack took a deep breath. "I would still have thought you were amazing. I just might not have had the courage to let you know," Olivia smiled. "For what it's worth, I'm glad the translator malfunctioned." Before Jack could respond, the doors to the main hall opened. Beyond them waited representatives from 27 alien worlds, along with Earth's leaders and hundreds of guests. "Ready, Ambassador?" Olivia asked, back to formality. "Ready, Captain," Jack replied with a smile as they entered the hall side. By side, Jack thought about how one embarrassing moment had changed not just his life, but the fate of all humanity. The path to the stars had been opened by the most unlikely of keys. An honest compliment and the graceful reaction of an extraordinary woman. Whatever the future held for Earth and the galactic community, Jack knew one thing for certain: honesty. Even accidental honesty had proven to be humanity's greatest strength among the stars.